The golden age for me, if there is such a thing as a golden age, for pipe bands, was in the late 80s and 90s. And you'd think that from someone of my generation. I'd like to talk a little bit about the 78 Fraser Highlanders, those sort of vintage years, those years when the band was together and full of really edgy personalities. You know, there really was something quite special about it, and we knew there was something. Even the people in the band knew there was something special about it. It was a great team of people that was made up of very different personalities, and everyone sort of brought something different, and there was always a creative tension in the band. Sometimes there was more than creative tension, sometimes there was just downright tension. But that was all tempered by lots of fun, lots of laughing, and that sort of balanced out the rest of it. Because, you know, and I've learned this along the way, to create great art, you need ego. And with ego comes stuff that's not always great. It's not always great. But, you know, the output of all of that is often great. And that's what happened with the 78. 1987 was a great year. And you guys can anyone watching this can figure out why. The band, the 78th, won the Worlds, and we had this great concert in Ballymena. But you know, it didn't really happen by accident, and yet it didn't happen by plan. There was no 5-year plan. You know, we did not have a strict sort of Stalin-like 5-year plan to create something great. We just had this really good intention, and we followed our intention, and in the end it worked. But what we did do, what made that special, I think, that whole sort of 1987 week, that Wednesday concert, that time in Ballymena with all those great Ulster people, and then the Worlds, was because it was a pretty small group, and bands at that time were, you know, pipers, the pipe corps around 13, drum corps around 6, midsection around 4, very, very modest yet reasonable, I would suggest, sized bands. This was a team of people that was very tight-knit and like-minded, and because of that, when you start making great things happen, as I think you can imagine, with like-minded people that are tight-knit, the outcome is much more powerful. And so we ended up having that great week in Northern Ireland, and then having this fantastic result at the World Championships on the Saturday. And it was all amplified because it was all done by a group of people who were tight-knit, very close, and had traveled a journey to make that happen. And that was pretty great.